you said everybody can achieve something. No, I don't believe that. Because not everybody has that mindset. Not everybody has that drive. Not everybody's going to get out of bed. When it gets tough, they're going to fold and roll over. Being around people like that makes me feel uncomfortable, to be honest.
Listen. All right. The energy here is amazing. Welcome back to the Deafine Podcast. Every week we invite interesting guests and we talk about defining moments and what defines them. Today I got my man, Mr. Woodly. Man, let me tell you about this guy. This guy's someone who faced adversity, took it through the horns, and fucking ran with it, man. His story is so compelling. He's been on TED Talk. He has done some incredible stuff here in the city of Ocala, and he's continuing to build and invent and innovate the city within itself. But he's someone that I look up to because not normally does someone come into a city like Ocala and have a vision but also take action upon it. So welcome to the show, Willie. This is the second time we're doing this. The first time, the audio was off, the visual was kind of off, and I wanted to do this properly. You deserve that, man.
I appreciate it.
And when I say these words, man, I actually mean it, because as I'm doing my rounds through the city, I'm seeing that a lot of people don't understand your vision and what you're building, what you're creating. But people only want to grow as big as their environment.
Right.
Being that you came from somewhere else, do you think that is the element that makes you want to propel and move the city the way you have been?
I would say it's definitely an internal drive, because there's people all over the place in different cities, big cities, and there's homeless people in every city.
Yeah.
And there's people that are doing great things in every different city. So I would say it really came from my internal drive, wanting to provide a better life for myself and my family. But if you're on this earth, why not but why not be great? Why not live a life of absolute realization of your purpose? I feel like we're all like soldiers when we sent here on a mission by God, and we have the option to take that mission and come back to the commander, become a 5-star general, or be like, yo, what were you doing down here? I sent you with a specific mission and you didn't do nothing of it. You didn't do none of those things.
I love that. I love that analogy, how you put it, man. We all here have a mission, right? Some people don't fulfill that mission for whatever reason, but a lot of people think it's an external factor. Like I mentioned Ocala, I love Ocala now, and it took me a minute for me to get to this place to realize, well, although Ocala is, far behind, there's a lot of opportunities like people for me and you who want to push the city forward.
I agree. Ocala is an interesting city. When I first got here about 15 years ago, when my family moved up here, they called it Slow Cala. And I was losing my mind. I was like, yo, send me back to grandma's house. I live with her. I'll write you a letter every so often. And that's how it was going to be. But after getting in the flow, I went off to college, got my 2 degrees. When I came back, I saw a lot of opportunity here. And there's power in that too, because a lot of those kids that I went to school, sometimes some of them are taking over the dad's businesses, and they're like, they remember me of being a extremely hard worker, being somebody that strove for excellence even back then as an adolescent and teenager. So when I was playing football, there was like, man, Woodley, he was like one of the fastest guys on the field, and he worked so hard, and he went off and played college football. So they know that work ethic even as a child. And when I came back as a young business professional, they have that first impression of me as a child. So they're like, wow, this individual, I know what type of quality individual I'm getting. If you're coming at me with a business aspect, I know you're going to step right and you're going to provide me something of quality, professional, and excellence.
But where does that stem from? Because everyone has the same opportunity. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? But not everybody captivate on that opportunity. Where does that drive come from, right? Because like you said, you went to school with a lot of people, a lot of people, but not everybody's playing full out. They're not playing to their full potential. And when they do, transcend to whatever's next, they're not going to fully complete their purpose or mission, like you said before. So what is that thing? What is that innate ability that you have that forces you to want to do more?
So I'll use this football analogy. Some people are managers and some people are just game changers. So some people are just here doing their thing and they're just keeping things somewhat in order, and they're good people. They're getting stuff done. But like in football, you see somebody that breaks a game wide open. We need a touchdown right now. Who do we throw it to? We're all the way on the other side of the field. We need to get a touchdown right now. And when I was in football, I had that mentality, that game-breaking mentality. Well, I could take this run or this pass or this kick back for a touchdown, 80 yards, any given time. So when I stepped in away from football, when I stepped into the business realm, it's the same mentality that I brought with me. And the adversity that I faced in life and on the field, dealing with different things, it simply comes from I am going to beat the situation. The situation is not going to beat me. So when I look at adversity now, or I look at what makes me different, it's simply like Nipsey Hussle said in an interview. He was like, the main only distinguishing factor about me is I just don't quit.
Jay-Z said that.
Jay-Z or Nipsey heard Jay-Z said it and he said it, but that's the main distinguishing factor. Like when people are packing it up, I'm like, I don't have nothing to pack up. Where am I going? It for me to quit or to accept failure is it comes to a point where it's like it's more painful for me to quit than to keep going. There's nothing back there for me. I'm closer to the finish line than I'm at where I started. I need to keep going. Well, I need to take a nap. If I need to cry, take a nap, get back up and keep going, that's what you got to do. So you just have to keep going.
I love that. I love that you have that mentality, because a lot of people don't. And that's not to go to say it's exactly what you said. Some people are game changers and other people are just managers. They do great things, but it's ordinary. You do great things, but it's extraordinary. And I relate to that so much. I was with some friends and family a few days ago, and I'm like, they're all living okay. They got nice jobs. They live an ordinary life, but to them that's extraordinary, which is cool. I don't knock nobody. If you happy with what you have and what you're doing in life, yo, kudos to you. Do your thing. But as I was going home and I was driving, I started to think like, damn, why can't I have that? Why do I continue to persist and be relentless on the dreams and the goals and aiming towards something bigger to want to impact more people? Because that's what drives me every single day. Why can't I just be like some of my friends, some of my family? And again, that's not to shade anybody, but just to have that, like, okay, I have a nice house. I have a good family. I have all the tools and all the things that I need. Why won't I just accept that and live my life like that? Because every single day, like, there's a quote: if your why's not big enough, your why doesn't make you cry, there's no purpose and meaning behind that. And some people don't make their why big enough. They just get to where they need to, and that's their final destination. And to me, it's a constant state of evolution. And you talked about that on your TED Talk.
Absolutely. Grant Cardone in the 10X Rule talked about 4 different types of people. The first type of individual that sits around and does nothing, and they just wish on a star and hope that greatness is just going to fall in their lap. Then you have the level 2 people that they start doing a little something, they get hit in the mouth, they roll over. It's over for them. And then the level 3 people, in which you're talking about, the most dangerous type of people, average people. They have their their 1-2 cars, they have their family, they have their decent job, they're good. Until they're not. Until pandemic, until different things, average becomes below average real quick.
Yeah.
at least when you're extraordinary, you might fall down to great. Or if you fall down to the normal, well, everybody's below average, you're still good.
Yeah.
So
that's the mentality.
And then the level 4 people, in which I hang around with most, is the people that take massive actions, the people that think big enough. If you can't even see the vision of where you want to go, how you going to plug in the GPS to get where you want to go? It doesn't make sense. So like, if you want to build a rocket and you want to go to space, if you can't even fathom space, or you can't fathom being that high up, you can't.
Yeah.
It's simple. Like, if you cannot think about, okay, I want to go and become an astronaut. Well, you could look at the people that became an astronaut before you and emulate some of the steps, and really go through the extraneous training to become one. But if you can't even think about it, you cannot put the necessary actions, because you have no gauge. Yeah. You don't know what to put out there.
I love that. That's so true. I talk about, like, having a vision for your life is like having a GPS. Most people don't know what they're going because they haven't activated that GPS. It's like, how am I going to travel from here to New York if I don't know where I'm going? It's the same thing with your life. If most people don't set those things set in stone, and when they fall short onto whatever plan they have, they don't have no drawing board to go back to. So I'm big on that. I'm big on, like, creating a vision board, but also attaching an action plan to get there. And sometimes the goal, you don't get there exactly how you want to. You have to take detours, just like in life. Right. There's some detours you have to go through, and that's when adversity hits and knocks you on your fucking feet. You still have a plan behind it. The goal never changes. Sometimes the detour just puts you on a different path.
Right.
So I live by that. That's why, like, I mess with you heavy, Woodly. Don't think, even behind closed doors. I know on the first podcast that we had, you got some haters out here, right? And we not even going to address that, bro.
I'm tough though.
Yeah.
Like and I mean it when I say it. Even if I'm wounded, like, if I'm down, like, you kick me while I'm down, I might break your leg. Like, I'm that tough.
He's like 4 tough.
Yeah, like, you might lose a...
Yo, but what I was trying to say is, like, yo, even behind closed doors, like, I like to bring people up. That's I get joy from seeing other people succeed. I don't have no hater bone in my body, you know. And I read a lot of books, and one of the books I read, I forgot exactly what book it was, but it's like Success Leaves Clues. Right. And I look at you as a blueprint. You've been here much longer than I have. You created some massive success for yourself and your team. And I look at that. I'm like, what can I borrow from Woodly that can help elevate my situation? And that's why I don't understand why people hate. I don't understand why people have envy in their heart, when I feel like we have a relationship where I could call you, and I have called you, like, yo, Woodly, this is a situation I'm going through. Like, I need help. Can you help me out? And you're quick to, like, assist. And I like that, because true abundance comes is when you could share your knowledge and wisdom with other people. And I think that's one of the things on why you're so successful at such a young age. Now, I want to give people the story on how you got here, because although you talk about, like, you know, being relentless, right? Having this tough mentality and working hard, all those are factors in your success. And there's 2 most important days of your life: is the day that you were born and the reason you find out why. Am I correct? And there's something that happens in between. It's called the defining moment. It's those moments, those small moments, or big moments in your life that help you pivot towards your purpose or meaning, like we talked about in the beginning. What was that defining moment for you? How did Woodly get here? Because you had different dreams as you was growing up. Right. You wanted to get into the NFL. You went to college. You felt short on your academics, and it cost you that. But you pivot. And maybe I'm answering the question that I'm asking. So I'm going to let you share it. Like, how did Woodly get here? What's the story?
So my defining moment that I believe is when I hit rock bottom at 20 years old, when I felt like I had the world in my hands and it slipped right through my fingers. I had the ball, the sea parted. I was like, I just need to hit it. And boom, life hit. So I walked on to Florida A&M University's football team at 155 pounds. And I bulked up to 175 pounds because those boys are big. They're going to throw you around. And I focused so much on the football aspect, I lost sight of what got me there. And I was an under-recruited running back, and what got me there was my academics. And when I lost sight of that, I became stronger than I ever been, faster than I ever been. I walked on, I became the starter in 1 year. I was the 6th string running back when I walked on. And when I grabbed that bull by the horns, and I was like, man, I got 3 more years to build my resume for the NFL. And then the report came out that I was ineligible. It was devastating. And that was not the only thing that hit. So that hit me. Then, boom, I fell in love with a girl. And
it always starts with a girl. A great story always starts with a girl. And a bad story always starts with a girl.
I fell in love, man. And it was going great. We faced some adversity. She was there for me and when I needed her, and I was there vice versa. And there was a lot of stress in that relationship because there was a lot of factors that are going on in both of our lives. And I ended up losing football, the girl. I lost the group of friends that I was with. My grandmother died. My dad had a stroke, all in a 6-month span. And I was broke. It's always extra salt on the wound when you're broke because you can't do nothing. It's like being in jail when you're broke. Can't move.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had no car. I had no phone. My laptop broke. I didn't have a laptop. I didn't have a phone from that point for a whole year. And I just was like, hey, there's a 1% chance that I come out of this situation. Let me be that 1%. And I grinded for that. And we talked about GPS earlier in this podcast. It's interesting how when you down bad and you really don't have the resources, your GPS is literally probably 3, 4, 5 steps in front of you because I can't see how I'm going to get out of the situation because it's so bleak. But that's why I named my recently started nonprofit Fresh Vision Foundation. There's a story behind that. When I was grinding, I used to go to church and I used to pray to God for fresh vision on how I was going to get out of my situation. And I would grind for it. And then weeks would go by, a month would go by, sometimes 3 months would go by, and I felt like God would give me the instructions. And I was like, okay, I'm big on execution. You gave me the instructions, which was a little bit more in the GPS path, execute. I need to execute it in this time frame in order to get to where I want to go and the timing I wanted to get there. And I would execute. And as I continue to build myself up, going through that, like, heartbreak, dealing with that, dealing with lack of finances, dealing with not being on the football team, dealing with my dad not being able to work, I was really out here in the jungle. And people, that whole year, I felt like I was in isolation because I didn't have any friends, really. I'll go to school, work, go home, and most of the time you see me walking, I'm walking by myself. And I had a lot of time to think in that time frame. And what I learned is more about myself. My emotional intelligence went through the roof, and I was able to understand others because I was able to understand myself. And when I was able to understand myself and the different energies, trends, and transitions I felt in certain situations when that same energy, there's no label for it. Like smell, you can say, man, that smells like roses. Energy, you don't throw those labels on it. You know, you can say that feels bad or good, but when you try to get specific, it's like, well, it has to be this because you felt that situation before. Whether that was in yourself or you felt that type of energy from someone else and you seen what resulted from that energy. So when that energy comes around again, you're like, well, this is what it is. So that's another thing that I gained. But one of the biggest things that people don't do is they want that overnight success. And sometimes you have to work a long period of time in order just to get to the dance. I remember it was so funny, man. You know, that's why I know a lot of like survival stuff. When I didn't have a phone, I used to call people off of my Gmail account, and it would pop up California incognito. So I'd be calling people off the laptop, and then like sometimes people didn't know it was me, so I used to send them like a Facebook message, "Yo, I'm about to call you. Pick up the phone." Because it's gonna pop up incognito. You can't call me back because this is off the laptop. And I was doing that for a whole year. And I just got really creative with it. And this is some of the creativity that coming out from the bottom.
People wait to tough times to grow, right? When you hit rock bottom, when you hit the ground, the only place to go is up. A lot of people wait for that very last minute. And for you, it was unfortunate that you had to go through all these circumstances within a short
simultaneously.
Yeah, simultaneously going through that. You know, not having no money kills the ego, especially for a man. Like you feel like you're dying, just the money part, then the girl, then the family, then everything else on top of that. For me, there's a learning lesson there. It's like all that adversity was building your character, and I'm big on that. It's like people need to understand that your adversity, the things that you go through, is literally a stepping stone to wherever you're trying to go. Most people hold on to that stone, weighing them down, limiting them from getting from where they are to where they're trying to go. If you can just put the stone down and use that as a stepping stone, then you get to your destination much faster.
Right.
And and it confuses me because at some point, you know, I went through my stuff. You know, I became deaf when I was 13 years old, and for 2 years of my life, I was deaf. But that, you know, then I got operated and I could hear, you know, to some sorts. But even after that, I still held on to that stone. Like I'm still deaf. I'm still incapable. I always had imposter syndrome because I felt different than everybody else. But it's the self-negative talk that I was having with myself every single day, and most people do that. So the conversations you were having with yourself within that year was helping you grow. It was giving you plain sight and fresh vision, like you said, to get to the next level. So now when you deal with adversity, you take it to the chest. Like, yes, okay, this is what you're giving me. And you use that as a level up, right? To get to that next level, because every level you get to, there's going to be a new devil, you know, as they say. Mm-hmm. What are you going through now that you have this success, right? I see that you're still growing.
Right.
You're still learning. You're still a student to life, but what are some of the adversities that you go through now that you own Biznick, the #1 marketing company here in Ocala? I'm gonna put that out there because I believe it. You know, you everywhere I go, I'm like, what the fuck? This guy's here. But that's people get to a certain level and they stop doing the leg work. So what I was trying to tell you earlier, that even behind closed doors, I'm still bringing your name up. And although, like, we had the conversation last time where you have haters and stuff like that, is because the things that you do is who they wish they can be. They wish they'd had that relentless drive, that motivation, that persistence to keep going even when things get tough. Like COVID happened. I'm pretty sure people thought you were going to close them doors. You feel me?
They funny.
And the last time you came on this podcast, you talked about, like, sometimes you break night and you stay at the studio all day. You cried so many times. And as a man, that's hard to say because a lot of people are not vulnerable. But you cried over your business.
Right.
You shed tears over your business because you love what you're doing and you have this vision. And sometimes God puts things in front of us to see if we really want it. And you've proven yourself over and over and over and over. So I just want to give you your flowers. I want to say that by giving you your flowers and say, hey, I acknowledge you, even if they don't. Right? And you don't need that verification. You don't need that validation from anyone else. Because I see you, brother. And we sat on this podcast maybe like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. And your energy was different. And even when we cut everything off, and I'm going to say this.
Right.
Even when we cut everything off, we had a conversation and I felt that while we were sitting down. I'm like, yo, only if this guy knew, like, he's much better than what he's saying right now. Like, I didn't have a close relationship with you. We had several conversations, but I've seen your social media presence, the things that you portray, the things that you put out, the things that you live by. And I was like, as someone looking from the outside, looking in, I fucking admire that, dude. I admire that. And the more people we have like you that's in this city, the faster we can get to where the city belongs. Because we're missing out on a lot of opportunities. And most people to get into like innovative spaces within technology, Bitcoin, Web3, everything you talk about, they go to other cities.
Right.
Because there's no opportunities here. But you, my friend, you're creating those opportunities. You're creating those safe places where people can come, learn, and grow as individuals, but also connect. So that goes to say, like, September, you have something huge coming up. And I said a lot. Massive. We're going to touch on everything that I just said right there. I just wanted to give you your flowers first. And then second, let's talk about this massive event that you have coming on.
Right. Ocala Crypto Week is going down at the World Equestrian Center, September 9th to the 11th, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. We're having a cryptocurrency, NFT, and blockchain expo. We'll have individuals coming from all over the nation speaking on topics such as, of course, cryptocurrency, NFTs, blockchain, mindset. You'll have performing artists there, live painting, but it's a opportunity to come and network and learn from individuals that have skin in the game, that are putting in the work, that have seen success and want to bring this to you in a 3-day event that could change your life.
Hey, let's go. I'm definitely going to be there. I'm definitely going to partake in that. That's something I haven't touched on. I've learned a lot. I watch a lot of videos on like Web3 and NFTs and Bitcoin and stuff like that. There's a bear market. It's shit right now, right? It's
going back up a little bit.
It's going to go back up. But a lot of people think that is like a fugazi. It's like the internet when the internet first came out. Like It's just a phase. It's going to come and glow and blow with the wind. But I truly believe like this is a new currency. Everything we do, you know, in the future is going to be based on NFTs having utilities to like an airport. In order for you to buy a ticket, you got to get this NFT, and the utility is that you're able to travel and do these other things. I personally believe in that. But there's not enough. It's so much information that is not enough information for me to understand like how it really works. That's why I haven't invested. Is because it's too much information. And that goes for a lot of industries. There's so much information. You don't know what to believe nowadays. Mm-hmm. So how do for someone out there who's watching this right now who maybe understands or doesn't understand how this whole new currency, whole new era of transactions are occurring, how can we get them abroad?
First of all, let's talk about the shift in valuation of digital currency and assets. So just like you see stocks have plummeted as well, it's a result of what's going on in the world and the economy and several other factors. So when you see the shift in cryptocurrency value, it's tied to just like everything in the world. When you see that things are plummeting because of war, legislations that are coming down by the government, just pure, we're going into a recession. These things affect the value of things. So
that's financial literacy. Not to cut you off. Most people don't understand that, so they're afraid of this new thing because they don't understand how the value of a dollar is. What's the real value? Mm-hmm. People think it's a piece of paper, but that piece of paper really doesn't mean nothing, especially coming into Bitcoin and NFTs where that coin is actually going to equate to a utility that you can benefit from. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be the transition, and that's going to go into Web3.
And you know what's interesting about what you said? Not everybody's built to be wealthy. So it's honestly who wants to take the time, put in their 50 plus hours, or they want to become a master, put their 10,000 hours in and really run with this. So it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's okay. You want to be a level 3 person, just be average. That's your life.
Yeah.
But for me, I like to operate on level 4, massive action. So I want to be able to constantly innovate, a constant state of evolution, always getting better, never ending process of improvement. That's what I'm about. So when you talk about cryptocurrency, NFTs, blockchain, and different things, people are like, "Oh my gosh, could be fake." Well, before a dollar was implemented, there was other stuff that was exchanged for value, and when they came up with paper, people had pushback. But as that grew in popularity and was more widely accepted, people just went with the flow. So it's just time. Time has to go by, and as more people get involved, they'll see what everything's about.
I don't think Ocala's ready for that. I'm sorry. I gotta say, I don't, because I am having conversations with a lot of people, but they just don't understand it. Just like they don't understand the internet and the power of social media. Like, I'm in these rooms and I'm literally pulling out my hair like, dude, if you can just transcend and be who you are on the internet, you can leverage your time and connect with more people. Why are we still doing the things the old way here in the city? And listen, it's a perfect opportunity. It's a perfect opportunity. I love that I'm having these conversations over and over, because at the end of the day, it gives me leverage for me to grow and to teach others. Like, dude, what you're doing every single week, I can do like literally from my bed on social media, on the internet. And that's why I say, because people don't understand the social realm of social media, the internet, how are they going to understand the currency that happens on the internet?
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So are they going to learn that? Are they going to learn that in this 3-day conference? To learn how exactly Bitcoin, how you can maybe mine it, how you can leverage it, how you can sell it, how you can trade it, and all those things.
You're going to learn about the concept of not every single last aspect, but the fundamental aspects of cryptocurrency, NFTs, and what is the blockchain, where all these things reside on. And when you come to this conference, you're not only going to learn from these different individuals that have had success with these new forms of technology and currency, you are going to have an opportunity to connect with other like-minded individuals. If you're around a bunch of people that are like, Bitcoin's never gonna do anything, and you see there's Bitcoin millionaires. Like, you see things are down right now, but things go back up. The market shifts. You understand what time we're in right now. So there's a lot of people that's sitting on the sideline that have a lot to say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always like that. But even people talking about it, as long as they're talking about it, it's a good thing. But I'm gonna get off that. I just wanted to make sure we promote that, because I'm excited for that. I'm excited what that's gonna do for the city and connect people, man. I'm all about networking and meeting new people, man. So let's talk about business. Your business that you developed. You got your MBA.
Right.
You went into business. You worked for a firm for a few years.
Right.
And you seen an open need for marketing, especially here in the city, and you captivated on that. You took initiative, and now you have one of the biggest companies here. Am I saying? Is that right to say?
It's forecasting. So we're growing. We are one of the biggest marketing agencies in Ocala.
Who's your competition?
Who? There's some great companies out there, but
I'm not shitting on nobody.
What we bring is a different flavor, and the quality speaks for itself.
Yeah, that is dope. Do you love what you do?
I do.
You see yourself doing this forever?
I see myself. My ultimate goal is to become a massive philanthropist.
Okay. So this is your practice right here to
Yeah. So
get to.
I'm a serial entrepreneur. BizNec is one of 7 companies that I have equity or own.
Bro, and you're only 28?
28 years old.
28 years old, bro. You're doing most than others.
Yeah.
What would you contribute that to hard work? Do you contribute that to your past experiences? Where you think that comes from?
It's a gift from God.
Yeah.
It's a gift. It's that internal desire that was placed in me that doesn't settle. I want to be the best version of myself. So I strive for that. And a lot of people will say you can't or you won't, or I never seen anybody do that, but I don't like to live in a box.
I can't associate myself to that because maybe I don't understand it. Again, I don't have a hater bone in my body. For someone to even like project that upon themselves says a lot about them. Right? You have done things that hasn't been done. So people are just like questioning themselves rather than questioning you. Like you can't limit somebody based on what you know.
You want me to be honest? Like I think I
want the truth. I'm a
harsh reminder to people of what they can be. Like in a sense of not like
people gonna think that's a statement of arrogance. I'm gonna tell you.
Let me clarify that statement.
Yeah.
The way I operate not in fear. So me striving to be the best version of myself and becoming even better or achieving things that people perceive that are not achievable in this city, or they don't know many individuals that have achieved those, I'm a harsh reminder, because it's like that ambition speaks for itself. The way I move speaks for itself. It's physical. You can see it for yourself. So when somebody's thinking about the life they've lived and what they've probably done to build the life that they exist in and live in every day, when they look at me, I'm a harsh reminder of what they're probably not doing.
Yeah.
And it's not being arrogant. It's the truth. And even when I interact with some people in my circles, they're a reminder that I need to step it up. I need to refine different things. I need to become a better version in this aspect of my life. So the thing is, there's a lot of normal people or people living below what their normal should be. And when I'm operating on that rulership and excellence and that kingship, it's like unapologetically when they see me, and if they're not comfortable with themselves, they
get intimidated.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I can see that because people don't. You said business is a sport. People now are not playing like it's a sport. They playing like casual. You can't be casual about your dreams, bro. You gotta be fucking insane because you're the only person that sees that vision. And people are gonna think you're crazy. People are gonna think you're arrogant. But yo, do this, man. If you see someone like Woodly, I would look at him and I would look at his situation and be like, wow, okay, he did it, right? He did it unapologetically. Whatever he thinks or however he wants to portray that. But I look at it like success leaves clues. Look at him. And even with your statement, you can say, hey, listen, if I can do it, you can do it too. Don't project your limiting beliefs upon me just because you haven't gotten to the place where I have. But in terms with that, it's like, we only getting started, bro. You're only 28 years old and you said you went through some shit when you was 20. You was a fucking kid. You was a kid. You didn't go through shit, but you needed to go through that. And I'm so thankful that I get to sit down next to you and you can tell this story because some people don't get it right away. And I empathize with people more than like slander and try to bring people down. Like that's never what I want to do. I come from this cloth. Like if I can do it, you can too. Now let me show you. Don't hate on me. Don't project your limiting beliefs upon me, because guess what? By the time you finish like reevaluating your situation, I'm gonna be somewhere else, and it's gonna be harder for you to follow what I'm doing. And I'm just giving you guys an example. Like I am figuring this out. Like most people. Most people are trying to figure this out. Bro, you still trying to figure this out. You still making your runs, because I see you everywhere and I'm like, damn, this motherfucker don't get away. But I don't mean that in a bad way. So don't take that. I mean that like on a brotherly love type stuff. Because eventually I'll get to that place. Like I'm not in marketing, but I'm developing a business that we will be helping other people. And I need to like follow your blueprint. Get in these rooms, speak to more people, understand what the culture needs, understand what the community needs, because we need those people that's, I wouldn't say in charge, but is at the forefront, that develops a blueprint.
So there's invisible roadblocks that are built by people to stop you from continuing to grow at a rate or at all. So I know those exist, but I don't operate in those confines. So when those barriers come up, I don't really think about them. I just go through them, or I use my intellect in order to maneuver around it, where I still get to where I need to go. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting being a young businessman in this city, working through different situations. Like I'm war tested. I'm a veteran. I did a couple tours already. So it's all good. I'm not really. It's about connecting with the right people, positivity, keeping your mindset sharp, doing what you're supposed to do, and just keep it moving. Like people are going to dislike you for whatever it is, whether it's the color of your skin, whether it's the way you talk, well, you look like my ex, or you know, whatever it is. Yeah. So it just comes with the territory.
Yo, so let me ask you this. Does being a black businessman in a predominantly white city have challenges? Do you have challenges? Have you faced adversity based on the color of your skin being here? Like, I'm not trying to open up a can of worms.
It's all good. So,
but I just want to be, I just want it to be real, because there's somebody out there right now that's listening or watching to this that's facing something, and it's our job, our duty and obligation to give people value.
So this is America. Of course, yeah, I've experienced adversity, but I'm not going to operate in that on why I couldn't succeed. So even if it was racism or, you know, politics, whatever, that stopped an opportunity for me, it's all good, because like there's a philosophy that was rolling around in the black community: you have to work 10 times harder. Hey, if I had to work 10 times harder, when I get there, I'm gonna be 10 times stronger. And when you operate around individuals, it breaks stigmas. Like somebody gets around you enough, you know, they might have grown up prejudice, but you are their only close interaction with that other race, and it's a great one. So they continue to interact. And I've had people that I've interacted with that may have been prejudiced or may not have ever gave me business. But you know what? I've had people come up to me that I've had an inkling they may have been, and they've been like, yo, I just wanted to let you know I respect you. People are going to respect hard work. They may not put any dollars in your pocket, but that hard work, if you have the right intellect and you you have to build your tribe.
Yeah.
And your tribe may not be all Hispanics, all blacks. My tribe is a mixed bag, all types of races of individuals in there. And your tribe becomes your family, and those are the individuals that you really should focus on and you should continue to grow with.
I love that. A lot of people use that like adversity and maybe color or maybe hate and all these things as excuses on why they can't succeed when they should be the opposite. Use those excuses on why you need to succeed and why you need to grow as an individual. So I love that, bro. You give a lot of gems. I'm so happy we was able to do this for a second time, because
For sure.
the first time your energy was off, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, and I was so hesitant to put it out. And you know, we ran into each other yesterday, and I'm like, yo, bro, come back on, because I see this energy now. What has shifted? What?
So there has been a shift. So the big shift is the I don't care mentality. Like, I don't know if anybody ever watched Dragon Ball Z. For my Dragon Ball Z fans, when Vegeta went Super Saiyan, he stopped thinking about the next man. It's not like I was thinking about the next man or the next woman. He just was like, yo, I don't care no more. I'm just focusing on this. What's right in front of me, what my tasks I have to complete, that's what I'm focusing on. And I'm going to grind and I'm going to get it, period. And the failure is not even existent in your mind. You know, you have to stay diligent and stay on this course, and it will happen. So the shift was, I don't care if they don't like me. I don't care if they kick me. I don't care if, you know, I may get a flat tire this morning. I'm going to change it, and I'm going to get back on the road, and I'm going to keep going. It's that shift that happened. It's going to happen, period.
Success is not an option, it's a must. That's the mentality that you have. You don't make room for anything else. And I'm a firm believer, like, what you focus on expands. And being that I felt that energy without us even having that conversation, I was like, damn, even me and Johnny had a conversation like, yo, this guy, he gets it, but there's something in the way. And that's why, like, in sales, like, you can't let your personal life interfere with that, because people can smell it, people can sense it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? But being that we chopped it up yesterday, and I see this new energy, this new demeanor, you coming into different heights and different levels of your success, and even with your own intuition. Does it make it easier for you to process everything that's going around you now that you kind of let your guard down and are moving in the rate that you're moving? Because you talked about that a lot.
Right. So it's interesting, like, it's a Dragon Ball Z philosophy. I'm going to use it because it has a lot of relevance. So in this new Dragon Ball Z, Goku, when he got to a certain level, he just moved. Like, he didn't even have to think about it. He just moved, and he could fight at the optimal level, can dodge at the optimal level, can block at the optimal level in his sleep, almost. So it's operating at that mastery and that level of excellence to the point where people are going to throw punches at you. You just... You just duck, like, okay, you swoop, slip that, you block, you hit him with a punch, you get out of my way, keep moving. So, and that doesn't have to be in like a frantic thing. It's just comes with the territory.
Somebody wants your spot.
You ready. and then the spot they want, they can have it because I'm going to be on the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Like exactly, bro. Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying, bro. That's exactly what I was saying, man. I was building with people and having people around me, and it's like, yo, I was seeing like different energies that go around. It's difficult to build a team, build a tribe, and people that have kind of like the same vision. When you over here, you're operating at your own level and your own pace, and you have your own things going on, and people see that, they want to operate there, so they want to take your place. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about the place. You can have it. You can literally have it. Matter of fact, I'll pass it to you, because at the end of the day, this is my starting point. Like, I'm thinking much bigger, much higher, and how I can impact much people. Like, that's the only thing I want to do. The only thing I want to do is impact people in a way where they can help them move from where they are to where they want to go. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why I put these messages out. That's why I bring people like you onto the platform, because you started from somewhere.
Right.
And at one point it started as a dream. You face some adversity, and then you pivot and now look at where you at.
So
I wanted to ask you this. So what do you want to leave? What do you want to be known by? What do you want to leave when your time is up here?
Hey, when I leave from this earth, the last breath leaves my body, and I return, my spirit goes back to Almighty God, and then whatever judgment comes after that, I would like to leave this earth with so many ripples, and those ripples are not only coming from me, those ripples are coming from the people that I've interacted with and touched and was able to pour into their lives in positive ripples that affect many generations. I want to be able to proudly leave everybody in my family in a better position. That's why I got life insurance. I got $1 million on my head in more. So if I leave, people coming up, and people, a lot of minority people don't think like that. So you leave people with hardship on how to bury you, but you don't think about what you can do to help set them up. I want to be able to have infrastructures that are operating long after I'm gone, that bring people closer to finding their purpose in God. So that's what I'm about. I'm about truly being that soldier that God sent down to this earth for that mission, and I hope and I pray and I work that I achieve as much as possible that was on the list that was meant for me to achieve.
That's so dope, bro. That sounds like a legacy. You want to leave a legacy behind, bro. That's amicable. So let's before we head out, what is there somebody that's facing adversity right now? Someone that has a dream and the dream got squashed because their academics sucks ass. Or they have a family member that passed away. Unfortunate situation. They have a guy in their life that left, and now they have a broken heart. They lost a job, lost a business, and they have no money, and their ego's shot. What would you tell that person right now? Put him on a spot, boy.
Interesting, because it's a muscle you have to build in your mind, whether it's weak or it's strong, because you could have faced adversity before, so you got back in a situation, a tight spot, and you just retap that muscle, and then you're able to get back out of it faster. But you have to look deep within yourself. Every man must search his own soul for what he needs to pull out of it in order to rectify his situation. Every man and woman needs to look at themselves and come to terms with the power that is within their mind. Okay, how am I going to make it? You have to look deep, because the only other alternative is to lay down and let them throw the dirt on you. You're done. Hey, for me, as long as I'm alive, even if I'm in a bad spot, don't let people bury you before you're dead. Because you have an opportunity to come back. You have an opportunity to build, but you have to look within yourself. And if you don't have what's within yourself, the knowledge or the strength, start doing push-ups. Start getting better. And those push-ups can be done by seeking a coach mentally, by gaining the knowledge, by doing research, or physically by running, jumping, lifting. So you have to be able to not only operate in the short term, but in the long term of doing what's hard for a long period of time to get where you want to go. And that's why a lot of people don't succeed, because for example, when I was in college, I worked at Winn-Dixie. And I worked at Winn-Dixie for 3.5 years. I was a bagger, I was a cashier, I was an overnight stalker. I did all types of jobs, man. I have a long list. And I remember before I got my first vehicle, there was this one gentleman I knew from school. He came by and he was like, "Man, you still work at Winn-Dixie?"
Ooh, that's an ego killer right there.
Right, but I knew where I was going though. So yeah, I still worked at Winn-Dixie, but you know what? I knew where I was going. So are you willing to stand in the paint for 3.5 years in a tough situation, but you know where you're going or what you're building in that situation in order to get to the promise, in order to get to the land that was promised to you if you stayed in place and you stayed disciplined? Are you willing to stay in that spot for 3 years, for 5 years, for 10 years? They say it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. Are you willing to stand in the paint in order to receive that promise? Because the promise will never be fulfilled if you give up. If you gave up a year or two in, you're never going to get what your heart yearns for, desires for, that you feel like you would be living your best life, your life, you would be waking up with joy, smelling the air, jumping out of bed. This will never become a reality if you give up. And those situations look different for many people. It could look like you working at Winn-Dixie for 3.5 years. It could look like you working all types of odd jobs like me, like working at Winn-Dixie as a bagger cashier, simultaneously working a maintenance job, working as a grad assistant, being a bouncer at the same time, working an internship. All those types of jobs while going to school, taking 6 classes. That might sound crazy, but are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to stay in position to get the promise that whoever you worship, God has promised you? If you you stayed in position to get where you want to go. And it's simple and plain. I know you said earlier in this podcast, you said that people, it's simply not for everybody. You said everybody can achieve something. No, I don't believe that. Because not everybody has that mindset. Not everybody has that drive. Not everybody's going to get out of bed. When it gets tough, they're going to fold and roll over. Being around people like that makes me feel uncomfortable, to be honest. Because boom, you get hit in the mouth. If we're in war, you get hit in the mouth 2-3 times, you laying on the floor, I got to face the next 10 people. Until they put me in the ground. I'm gonna stay in position. But a lot of people just simply can't. It's because it's not in their mindset. It's not, I don't know. I wondered, I was very curious about that. When I was coming out of the struggle and I got to a better spot, there's situations where, for example, the guy who came in with the $100 settlement, he ended up getting evicted out of the apartment we lived in where we paid $500 a month in 5 months after getting a $100,000 settlement. Of course, the Lord take forward, you had $60,000. You're 19 years old. What did you do? The mindset was poor. He was a people pleaser. He went out and spent money on a vehicle that he could have got something more reliable. He paid money for people to enjoy.
He was living beyond his means, and most people do that.
He was living beyond his means, but
I get that. I totally get that. I totally understand. Not everybody can get to that level, but everybody has the option, is what I was gonna say. Right? That's why I have no hate or bone in my body, because everybody has the option to do what Willie's doing.
Well, not everybody does, because you have people that live in Africa that are literally slaves still to this day. So not everybody has the option.
But there was people to get out of that. They gotten out of that. There was people that right. So if they did it, why can't you do it? And that's the only thing that I'm saying. Like, I don't want to get that deep into that conversation.
Let me hit on one little aspect. The outlier. I don't like when, a lot of my Caucasian friends use this. And Woodly, if you did it, why couldn't they do it? Yes, a lot of people can if they worked as hard as me, but people don't really know. And I can't lay all that out in this podcast, what it took to get there.
Yeah, but it's the option. What I'm talking about is the option. You have the same 24 hours as I do. The only difference is you have the discipline, the relentless, the passion, the drive, the inner dialogue that you have with yourself to go out there and go accomplish your dreams, accomplish the things that your mind, your heart, your body, your soul desires, right? That's the only difference, is you cultivated this mindset that allows you to get closer to your destination. The reason people don't do it is because the lack of discipline, right? The lack of even trying, having the imposter syndrome because they don't believe, the limiting beliefs, all these factors that have to do with mindset, that's what stops them. However, if they can just get out of their own way and apply some of the messages and the things that you have done to get to where you are, why can't they do it? That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Like, people, we all have the same, not the same option, but we have the same 24 hours in a day. It's what you do with it that makes a difference.
I agree.
And that's the only thing I'm saying is, like, you have, I'm not trying to take away from you, but you have nothing special than someone else. Like, if I see what you have and it works for you, I could just implement some of the things you have done. And 90% of the things you talk about, this is our second podcast, is fucking mindset. If I just get my mindset right and I be more disciplined, let my yes be yes and my no be no, then I can obtain greatness, as you say. Do you agree? Right? If I really apply myself, if I'm disciplined, if I let my yes be yes and my no be no, and I work day in, day out, same things you're talking about, don't I have a greater chance of becoming successful?
Absolutely.
So that's the only difference, that factor of having, like, that mindset.
But that's everything.
Mindset is everything. Exactly. I scream that every single time. And that's why I love to sit down next to people like you. It's because, like, you fucking get it. You understand it. It's like, yo, everything starts within yourself. Stop depending on external factors, the city, the people, the this, the that. That shit does not matter, right? It may slow down the process. It may be much harder and much difficult to get to where you're trying to get to, but that's a small portion in the big in the big goal, in the big dream. It all has to start with here, and not only start there, you actually have to believe it and have the innate ability to go achieve it. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what I'm big on. I'm constantly saying that. It's like, yo, the only difference between me and people, when I say, yo, I'm building the biggest shit here, is because I actually believe it. It's because when I say yes, I mean yes. When I say no, I mean no. And what I mean by that is, like, yo, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Maybe I don't know exactly what it is, but I have this burning desire and I'm willing to go through the jungle. You say that all the time. I'm willing to go through the jungle. I'm willing to go through the wall. Now I have to find some people that think like me. I have to find a team that's going to help me operate in this frequency that I'm in to go achieve that. Because without a team, bro, it's almost impossible for you to achieve greatness, bro. Look at anybody that you've ever known, any high figure celebrity, anybody who's made a huge impact in the world. They needed a team.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So I'm operating out of, greatness, and I have the discipline, but team, I'm missing that.
And it takes time.
Yeah.
So, like, literally,
yo, one more thing, bro. I get so fucking passionate and fired up because it's not often do I have conversations with people that, yo, we can have this dialogue, this conversation on, like, yo, bro, mindset is everything. Get your fucking mind right if you want to get somewhere.
I love the conversations.
Yeah, I live and thrive off that. However, I also do. There's a different type of people, right? The language that we speak may not be the same language that somebody else operates in, or my energy may not be the same frequency as somebody else's energy, so they don't understand what we're saying. Mm-hmm. So when I say, like, there's nothing that makes us different. It's just our mindset. It's like we have to get people to understand that version, which is the very basic. It's the very beginning to accomplishing anything great in life. First, it has to start within you. It has to start inside. You have to believe, and then everything else is 20%. It's the 80 and 20%. 80% is our mindset. Most of us are having the wrong conversations within ourselves. Even me. You don't. There's never a time where you talk to yourself and you're like, you talk yourself into something, then you talk yourself out of something, and you're like having this conversation, and you get into like a rut. Does that ever happen to you? Even though you're performing at a high level. Because even me, I do a lot, and I don't mean that in a braggadocious way, but I know what I'm doing. Even now, people see me, bro, and they're like, oh, I'm so proud of you. I see you doing this, and you're helping this person, and you're doing all these great things. I'm still fucking human.
Right.
I still have, I wouldn't say doubts, but I still have these weird conversations with myself that really bring me no value. And sometimes I cater to that person. It's like two people speaking to me like, yo, go kill shit. Go kill the industry. Go build the biggest business. Go build the biggest team. Go help as many people as you can. And the other person is like, well, you don't have the resources, or you don't have this, or it's not possible, or people don't get it. You see, it's like two different like people that I'm speaking to. And sometimes I listen to the person that I shouldn't be listening to, because it takes away from the value of what I'm going to do. So what I'm trying to say is like, yo, even though you're performing at this high level, do you still have these moments where like you either overthink something or go back to maybe this limiting belief that really doesn't exist?
Let me answer that. So Tony Robbins talks about a concept of burning your boats.
Yeah.
So, you're on the island, you burn the boat in order to take the island because you have no choice. So I burnt my boat many years ago. So that voice is always going to be faint. So you may get in a situation that's tough, and it's like you kind of think, or you might look back, you're like, man, where's that boat? It's in flames. It's gone. Mm-hmm. You got to stand there and really make it happen, because you have no choice. So it's simply, I have no choice.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. When somebody's like, okay, I tried the business, I'm gonna pack it up, we're gonna dissolve it, I'm gonna go back home and work for my pops company. I don't have that.
Yeah.
Or hey, let's pack it up, I'm gonna just go back to corporate and work. That's not feasible. That's not even feasible.
Yeah.
That's not even feasible. So when you make success mandatory and you make failure not an option, like to that extent, it's like it's either I'm going to succeed or die trying. Like Will Smith literally said, like, if I get on a treadmill and you get on a treadmill, you are going to get off first, or I'm going to die on that treadmill. And
so you have that mentality.
That mentality.
So you'll slap the shit out of somebody if they talk about your girl on national television?
No comment.
I'm sorry, I had to bring it up. It's so fucked up that now that's the stigma behind his name, because he's done such an incredible thing throughout his career, reinventing himself time after time. Man, it just sucks to have that stigma. But I get what you say. I get what I don't hide that. I will smack the shit out of somebody. I'm big into personal development, but maybe not in that factor. That's not a real reason to jump out of character. That was like, and it was very unprofessional. Whatever. We offer that. The reason I say that is because that doesn't happen to me often. I know there's no option to go backwards, but it's these voices sometimes that I listen to that should not be there. But that's what makes us human. Mm-hmm. And the reason I really wanted to share that is because people see people like you and think like you're perfect. You have your mindset right. You have all these things going on for yourself. You're only 28 years old and you succeeding at a high level. That can be intimidating to a lot of people, but people don't understand. It's like, yo, we're all human. And even me, like having that conversation is like, yo, I help so many people. People don't see like the adversity I go to because I don't focus on that. I believe like what you focus on expands. But I wanted to like kind of shed that out there because we have to be grounded. We're humans. Life is not all about like making money and doing all these extravagant things. It's about being connected as humans.
Let me say this. So I think I get to interact with a lot of high net worth individuals. And even though a lot of these individuals have more things than me, more assets than me, you know, I'm doing my own thing, so I don't really need from them. So the interesting thing I learned in those situations is simply this. When you are working in that space of being comfortable with yourself, knowing that you're here to learn and what you can offer to the world, you step back from being needy of many things. And when you step back, that does not exhibit, that energy doesn't come off you, that they won't be able to grab that. Like, okay, this, you ever have that cousin or that friend that always asks you for money?
I have.
So like, you may not like, dang, they're gonna ask me for another $100. Man, I don't have time for this today, you know? But it's simply when you're able to authentically interact with high level individuals that are operating at their frequency you want to be at, or at the same frequency at you, when it's mutual, where you're adding value to each other, or you're just simply enjoying each other's company, you can authentically be somebody's friend.
Yeah.
So a lot of high net worth individuals, they have a lot of people that are, you know, kissing their behind, or they're
have an agenda.
Give me. Yeah. Give me something. Give me something. And when you're like being yourself and you tell them how it is, like, dang, like, people know, I know nobody's ever really said that to me. I knew it was true, but like, man, why you had to let me know like that? I was like, yeah, man, you messing up. You gotta tighten up.
Yeah.
Or like,
our first verbal conversation was me kind of calling you out. Like,
that's why I appreciate people like you.
Yeah. And you know what it is? You know what it is with that too, bro? When I first came here, I felt like I needed to be somebody that I'm not in order for me to fit in. In order for people to hear my voice, I had to be like everyone else, like more conservative, more casual, and all these things. As soon as I said, fuck that, exactly like how you describing, you know, the change of energy and stuff like that, is when I started attracting people into my life, the people that I want into my life. And doors started opening like tremendously. It's because people mess with me for who I am. Right. I'm big into personal development, but I love entertainment and I love all these great things of, you know, social media and just networking and having a good time. I don't have to be something that I'm not in order for me to grow as an individual. I have to make space for that, but I don't have to pretend.
Right.
And a lot of people are fucking pretending, bro.
They're pretending.
So that goes to say, like, your energy and where you at, like, I'm so fucking proud of you. We spoke, you know, 2 months ago. We had basically same conversation, but it went totally somewhere else. Totally. So the person that you are developing into, or the energy that you're harvesting in, keep that energy, brother. I feel like we could do this all day now.
Right.
All day, because we kind of understand each other. And although we're doing two different things, we're on the same mission. We just want to be great. We want to help as many people as we can. We want to change our family tree. And most people want that.
Mark my words. This next level is going to be astronomical. It might sound crazy. I feel like I'm operating at less than 10% of my full potential.
Yeah.
So this is why it's important who you hang out with, who you tell your goals, or you just share energy and space with, because a lot of people would just think I was greedy because they see where I'm at now. And if I say I'm operating at less than 10%, I had a friend tell me that's scary. If you're operating at less than 10%, what is
50? What is 80? What is 90? I feel exactly the same way. But things are as I continue to grow and develop, I'm seeing things get into like motion, and the potential it's gonna create some crazy waves, brother. It's gonna create some massive, massive waves. And this is why I love where we at, bro. For the simple fact that we have room to grow. We can innovate, we can change, we can lead, we can help. All those things, that's what inspires me. Because once upon a time, I didn't have the courage to go out there because I was so caught up in my way. And people often think that it's like what I'm going through is only happening to me. And this is why I can't succeed. This is why I can't develop into the person that, you know, God intended me to be. It's because they have this border, this adversity block, this limiting them, and they taking that literally. Like there's a literal wall there in front of them, blocking them from the blessings they're supposed to receive here in this world, bro. But anyway, bro, thank you so much for coming on. Is there any last words you want to say before we share your social media platform and stuff like that?
I would say strive to be a constant state of evolution, a never-ending process of improvement. Grab life by the horns. You know what's on your heart. Don't listen to the right people, but the people, you know what noise to filter out, and just go for it. Go for it relentlessly with no hold bars.
Let's go. Let's get it, my brother. Where can people find you?
You can find me personally on Instagram at W_Oralus, ORALUS, or you can find our business on all social media platforms the same, BIZNCT, Biznect. And don't forget, September 9th to the 11th, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day, we'll be at the World of Question Center for Ocala Crypto Week. Tap in. We're going to have some high-level conversations. There'll be some sharp individuals dropping knowledge. Lives will be changed, and we'll see you there.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. Thank you, guys. If you watch this whole thing, you can't front. My mans was giving you guys some gems. My mans is out here really grinding. He's really putting in the work, and he's making some powerful moves here, man. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, like, and we see you next time. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.